recording.
Welcome back to Competitive Speed Series.
The time has come for 5 red lights. 3 wide through turn 3. Oh, into the wall!
I knew this would happen. I knew they wanted to try something.
AMR copying their wish. A 1-2 for the team. Another victory for VNT to put the cherry on top of their dominance. Hello, good evening and a warm welcome to you. My camera has decided to just stop again. It was working before. Oh well, nothing I can do now. Welcome back to the Competitive Speed Series. My name is Frostbite, aka Rob, and tonight I'm looking like a camera. Welcome back to the 13th round of the season. Yes, the time has come once again to get going here for the PC side of this brilliant team event. Here it is, round 13. We have arrived after Mexico in Las Vegas. And whereas VNT were supposed to take the 1-2 home last week, a post-race penalty has actually demoted them to a 1-5. Allowing FVR to take an additional podium place. That means that VNT's advantage is still there. They still have gained on FVR, but not by as much as it originally was. As you can see right now, as the standing is about to pop up to your screen. The advantage now being 113 points. Did I say Vegas? I meant to say COTA. I'm very sorry. It is in the USA either way, but here we are. The advantage from VNT to FVR is 113 points. So far, so good then for VNT. They can actually claim the title tonight if they manage to outscore FVR by 24 points. They've been on a brilliant road so far, and it is definitely possible to do so tonight. But FVR now does no longer have that double qualifying ban, meaning they can actually properly qualify with both of their drivers tonight, meaning we'll definitely see a very exciting battle to come. How desperate will FVR be to close that gap? They'll have to gain some massive points in the upcoming 3 races if they still want to have a shot at the title. There's multiple other fights going on a bit further down in the standings. ET8 and VRM are fighting for 3rd position. Their gap is only 34 points, and with VRM's latest performance results from China onwards, there's definitely a threat for ET8. FVR, by the by, can actually properly seal 2nd place if they are ensure that ET8 doesn't outscore them by 3 points tonight. But I'm sure they'll actually be looking forwards rather than backwards, as ET8 is still quite far away in terms of points. That's almost 140 points that the gap is between FVR and ET8 right there. A bit further down the order then, TRT currently in P5. They are looking to trying to get back into 3rd position actually, because they were there at some point in the season. No longer, unfortunately. Then it is AMS in P6, ONB in 7th place, SET in P8, IRT in 9th, and it's AZR still in 10th place. However, unfortunately, they had to pull out of the remainder of this season, which means, unfortunately, as much as I wanted it, we won't finish the season with the original 10. However, it does mean that the plagued team of AMR, who did get a qualifying night penalty and therefore just missed out by a few milliseconds, it means they will be returning to the grid, and that is actually really, really nice. I'm going to try some new things, by the way, tonight in the graphic stuff. New timing tower, for example, which you should see on the right side of the screen right now. And I'm hoping it's looking like everybody actually does have their name set. So that is very interesting, very nice indeed. You can see a beautiful team logos right there as well. Of course, the qualifying sectors will be measured again. There will be a different sort of track map, which you can see right now. We'll have a different sort of race director as well, which I believe is enabled. We'll have to see in a moment's time. This is a little bit of a test run. Let me know what you think of the graphics. Unfortunately, the names are cut off in this timing tower. But it is what it is, unfortunately. Let's see, we're following out on track right now. It's one of the Alpines you can see right here in the front of the field. That's already a downside of not using the usual timing tower. I do not know for sure which Alpine I'm actually watching. So that is one thing. That is a thing I can actually change the settings for that, I believe. Ryan with the FVR tag. Indeed. First time for everything. That is absolutely correct. Let's see if VNT can carry on their streak of pole positions. FVR are known to have completed multiple pole positions as well. And I'm also curious to see what VRM can do. They will have one qualifying ban already at their hands because one of their drivers is joining late. That is supposed to be Jordan Mopti. So let's hope he's able to join in time. Otherwise, we'll have to miss the race as well. So we'll have to see. Let's see which driver is about to start a hot lap. Actually, you know what? As much as I like the looks of that timing tower, it is just too confusing and qualifying to properly use it. So instead, I'll use the classic one, so I at least know which car I'm watching. Also means I'm quickly going to enable all the other stuff. The usual stuff, you know, the timing sector and that kind of thing I'll be using, of course. So no worries about that. Let's see. Drastic Blaze, one of the drivers on his way at the moment. Heading through the snaky section towards the end of Sector 1. A few cars ahead of him on a hot lap as well. Alejandro Loureiro, for example, for FVR. One of the drivers we're going to have to keep an eye on, of course. A green first sector, meaning that at least one other driver is faster at the moment. And let's see then. Ivan Escrit for AMR has already invalidated his hot lap. Alejandro is the fastest in Sector 1. Drastic Blaze is following suit. 29.6 pole tonight, question mark, we'll see. Alejandro, 1 minute, 0.3 in the second sector. Another purple sector to add to his name, no surprises, of course. He'll be one of the first drivers to complete a hot lap today. And still within the white lines, always a good sign. They've got to perform now. It is absolutely crucial that FVR are going to nail every single race and preferably get a 1-2, while they will hope for VNT to have several disasters in a row. It's going to be a bit of a miracle. 29.9 is already the first hot lap, so that 29.6 pole tonight is definitely a possibility, I have to say. Drastic Blaze has just slotted a 31.6, which is almost 2 seconds slower than the current provisional pole position. Let's see then, Victor Whitler slots into second place. Let's watch Alex Santana for a little bit. He's about to finish his hot lap as well. You can see on the bottom of your screen several other drivers on their way to finish the hot lap. Supply Raptor, 6/10 slower at the moment. P4 for TRT. Pascal Gill slots into P6 right behind Supply Raptor as Alex Santana claims second place ahead of his own teammate. Brian Bakar on his way, only just finished Sector 1, 24.4 as Finn. A new name for SET here in CSS has invalidated his hot lap. Zozo, same story. That means the SET at the moment not off to a great start. Last week they had quite a nice race, I have to say. They were looking very strong. ET8, they are looking to return to form. And the last few races haven't really had the best of races, to be fair. Marcel Paps, though, nice job right now. P4 for ET8. That is a 30.236, 1.5 tenths quicker than Jeremy Gallagher. And Rayan only a couple of corners to go. And then we'll see what his lap time is going to be. Can he match his own teammate in terms of performance? Can he split the VNT drivers? He can't do either of those. He actually slots into P5, 30.331, about a tenth slower than Marcel Pabst, who at the moment, between the two giants for the championship, is the odd one out, so to say. Ivan is headed back in as he destroys part of the pit lane. Let's see if Zozo has gone for another attempt. He hasn't. And that means, for the time being, the first runs are over. 13 drivers managed to set a lap time. A medal for now. The slowest of the lot by a 32.3. I'm sure he'll be able to find a lot more time than that, because right now it's well over 2 seconds slower than provisional pole position. And I feel like that is not really the performance he's usually capable of. Really busy in the pit lane, as you can see. Everybody coming back in now. Only a couple still headed back to that pit lane. And I think Alex Lamas might have actually started a hot lap. Indeed, he has. So let's have a little look at what he can do. Let's join him on board a little bit and watch the beauty of the snaky section here on the Circuit of the Americas. The end of Sector 1, 24.5. Not too shabby. 1.5 tenths slower than Alejandro. At the moment, depending on how well Sector 2 is, I definitely can see Alex joining the... Oh, never mind. Oh, what's going on here? That might be an issue there. He just went straight on. Alex Lamas in trouble. Is his steering wheel unresponsive now? Let's see what happens. I'm not sure if this is AI now correcting something. No, that's his... Oh, there's definitely something going on right there. Some technical issues on Lamas' side. Wheel disconnected. Yeah, I think that's the best way to explain what just happened there. As soon as he was entering the corner, that's probably the moment where the wheel went, no thank you. And that was the moment he went straight on into the wall. So let's hope it's a one-off. If that happens in the race, well, that won't be nice at all. But what can you do about it? Several other drivers back on their outlaps. I'd say, surprise tonight, Thomas Balcer, usually one of the midfield drivers, currently in P7 ahead of Supply Raptor. And about 1.5 tenths behind Jeremy Gallonier, who, and I mentioned this many a time already, of course, since China has found so much performance. It's very impressive to see. And right now, it looks once again, he's up for a potential top 5 performance. In China, he completely surprised everybody by claiming pole position pretty much out of nowhere. And ever since, VRM hasn't missed a podium. Last race, they were about to miss a podium, but thanks to a post-race penalty for VNT, they did get that 3rd place after all. And that is how it is. Everybody, once again, on their outlaps, except for Alex, of course. Redmerds is serving qualifying ban for ET8. Also, haven't seen the second VRM driver yet. There's 8.5 minutes remaining as Alejandro is doing some interesting shenanigans with his Red Bull. That's one way to warm up the tires for sure. Maybe it's a new sort of tactic that they discovered. We all know that esports drivers and those aspiring to be esports drivers will have to try to squeeze every single millisecond out of the game. And perhaps this is a new way to do so, otherwise he was just having a little bit of fun. Thomas, 21 milliseconds quicker than his original lap time. 74 milliseconds slower than Alejandro in Sector 1. Supply Raptor on his way as well, about 11 seconds up the road, as well as Pascal Gill, slower than his original lap time. Let's see if he can find something in Sector 2, currently P9 on the grid, still slower and already half a second of Alejandro. I wonder if he's going to ditch this hot lap or tries to finish it. He's not that far off his own lap time. Might have made a couple of mistakes here and there. Thomas, also faster in Sector 2. Few cars there are moving out of the way. And Pascal Gill round the final corner. And let's see what he does across the line. He doesn't improve. Next then, Thomas Balcer. One corner to go. The McLaren ahead, starting his hot lap. That is, of course, Marcel Pabst, the only McLaren on track at the moment. Thomas does improve by about 1/10 of a second. He does get closer to Jeremy Gallonier, but not close enough. Let's actually follow Jeremy around for a little bit. Let's hope his wheel doesn't get disconnected as soon as we join him on board. Ooh, look at that. 95 milliseconds faster than his own lap time. Victor Whitler invalidated. Alex Santana slower. Ivan Escri in 17th place does seem to be improving. As Jeremy Gallonnet tries to nail turn 11. It's always difficult to get the proper apex right there, but I think he did so nicely. Alejandro, purple middle sector. Can the current pole sitter actually make an even bigger improvement? We'll know very soon. It does indeed. 29.8 is the new lap time to beat. Paul Villegas goes faster. Same goes for Lucas Serra, or as he is known today as Luquitas Serra. Plenty of improvements then being made. And Jeremy trying to be one of them. Zozo goes into P13 ahead of his teammate Finn. Jeremy Gallonnet then, only the second driver to get into the 1 minute 29s, to be fair. And he does go to the front row. Well done. Alex Lamas. So far, it's looking stable. No issues yet for the steering wheel, as is looking to complete his first proper hot lap of the night. Axel, same story. Unfortunately, his timing thing isn't showing up. Oh, Alex! What on earth happened there in the final corner? More issues then, because he slowed down big time. Axel 26.3, sorry, in sector 1. He's not going fast at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on with Alex, but perhaps we should stop spectating him, because whenever we do, he runs into some sort of issue. But I've got no clue what happened in the final corner. I was just looking at the timing tower, and suddenly it was pretty much come to a complete halt. Time to sell the equipment. Yes. Not sure if he's using Fanatec or something else. Alex is suffering from technical issues at the moment. Not a happy man, I suppose. Jordan will not be joining. Unfortunately, that's a bad news for VRM, actually. And their fight for third place. They now have to fully rely on this man, Jeremy Gallonnet. But so far, to be fair, they have been able to fully rely on him. With Max Belmont for the last few races at his side. Unfortunately, Jordan not able to join. And that means Jeremy is on his own. He's got to try and beat ET8. And right now, ET8 is P6 and last due to Red Merce's qualifying ban. So there's one bit of good news for Jeremy. But the ET8 will definitely have 2 cars to try and score points. And I feel like both of them are up for the job. Both of them have looked fast through the season. ET8 at some point even had second place in their hands for one race in the team standings. So let's see what Red Merce can do from last place. At the moment, AMS looks to be a little bit in the mud. 16th and 18th, with Axel, of course, still without a lap time. And Medal with the exact same lap time as Drastic Blaze in P15. Then it's SET in 13th and 14th. O&B has been split by Supply Raptor, who's sitting in P11 in between them. Then it's IRT's Thomas Balcher in P9. Rayan Bakar looks to be a little bit on the back foot, while FVR definitely leads big performances tonight. He needs to find a lot of lap time. AMR, I'm not entirely surprised that they are this fast. Ivan and Poe in P5 and P7. They are performing quite strongly. And if they can score enough points, they might still be able to beat AZR to that P10 in the standings. Any higher is somewhat unlikely. It really depends on how well IRT does, but I'm sure IRT will do everything in their power to make sure they won't lose P9 to a team that has only joined in the 13th race of the season. But it looks like AMR have gotten off to a good start, at least for now. There's still, of course, this one final attempt of qualifying coming up. One final try to get a proper hot lap in. So the gap from Ivan to pole position is less than 0.4 of a second. And Po is about half a second away. Redmerds lost to podium. Well, let's see if that is going to come true. FVR did it last week. It's not impossible, as Ivan is trying to have a little bit of a race with one of the VNT drivers. But here we go. All of them on their last attempts. There's a lot of traffic now in turn 17 and 18. And all of them will have to find themselves a little bit of a spot to get going. Let's see how that one is going to work out. I wouldn't be surprised if they are all going to pretty much come to a standstill. IRT are both are the hot laps. Thomas and Drastic on their way. Marcel as well. Slowly but surely, everybody is going to get their lap going. I'm not sure how much time is remaining. Ryan has decided to go out at the very last moment. He's only here in turn 15. There's still a lot of yellow flags going on, so the timer is completely invisible. I wish they would change that. Now only a few cars queued up. Wow. Ryan trying to get the most out of the temperature in the tires. But we're going to have to swap our attention to the people on their way at the moment. Thomas being one of them. And he's already invalidated. That's his qualifying over. Zozo hasn't made it in time, actually. He was actually the last car in a line. And that's his qualifying over there for up next, Drastic Blaze, the second IRT driver. Faster in Sector 1, slower in Sector 2. Marcel, 2/10 of Alejandro in Sector 2. That is not going to be pole position then for the ATA driver unless he finds something brilliant in the final one. Drastic looking to get in closer to the top 10 actually. Right now in the top 15, which is where you want to be if you want to score points. Let's see. He doesn't improve. Stays P15. Marcel then up next across the line. We're going to have to change our attention though to those who can challenge for pole position. Victor Whitler, purple Sector 1. Whoa, there goes Alejandro. And Victor did get very close to pole position. Couldn't do it. Jeremy Gallagher perhaps is one of the drivers who can try and beat them to that position. Same goes for Alex Santana, who I believe was the driver who got the post-race penalty. Very close to track limits right there. Last corner, you can see everybody pushing, many invalidations. Alex doesn't improve. So then, can Jeremy pull off? No, he can't. He can't pull off another surprise. Another driver pushing too hard. So is this Ryan? No, he's invalidated as well. Poe perhaps? No, also invalidated. And that means there is only a couple of drivers still on their way. Actually, nobody's on their way. Axel has failed to set a lap time in this qualifying session. Therefore starting in P18. Many a driver were potential pole sitters. None of them, though, were ever able to beat Alejandro. He'll be starting from first, but his teammate is far away. However, VNT is also being split. They were already split by Jeremy Gallagher, but there is Ivan Escri for AMR. A dream start for the team that were so plagued in qualifying night that they've managed to claim that fourth place tonight alongside Pau Villegas in P7. I think you can't wish for much better than that. Although Pau probably would have gone a bit higher if he hadn't invalidated. Supply Raptor right behind him on the same lap time in P8. Ryan Bakar P9, then Pascal Gill for ONB in 10th place. Thomas Balcher can now manage P11, which I think is a decent result for the team. Lucas Serra on P12, then Alex Lamas P13. Looks like the wheel issues have been solved. SET 14th and 15th with Drastic Blaze P16, and then AMS. Well, they'll be looking to fight their race from the back in P17 and 18. And there we are. That is qualifying over already. Things are just flying by. Let's see. What time do we start? Going at 31 minutes past, which means we have got just under 3 minutes to get ourselves ready for the race. Weather-wise, we can see clouds, lots of clouds actually. Perhaps there might be some rain in the air. We'll have to find out whether that's the case or not. As we speak, the drivers are actually picking their tires, not the other way around. That would be kind of strange. Hards or mediums, that is the choice they're going to make. I wouldn't be surprised if those starting at the back on the faster teams will actually go for the harder option. Most tracks, medium to hard, appears to be the fastest strategy, but we've already seen in tracks such as China that the hard to medium strategy was a whole lot better. Perhaps it is the case here as well. I've also seen at the start of this game cycle that a 2-stop was almost preferred to a 1-stop. But I feel like, yeah, a 1-stop might be the best way to go. You never really know. Some drivers will probably try to go as fast as they can and try to enforce the 2-stop. Medium to hard, lap 6 to 7 works. There you go. That is pretty much confirmation there. That is the strategy to go with. But then again, people from the back might want to try something different. Red Mertz, for example. Perhaps the AMS drivers will try to do something with that strategy as well. Let's see who else might want to try something like that. Perhaps even Ryan Bakar. He's starting from P9, which is far from ideal for FVR. Soft, soft, medium, soft. Well, that is an optimistic one, isn't it? Less than a minute remaining, by the way. And then we'll be on our way. As I said, VNT can claim the driver's title tonight if they do outscore FVR by 24 points. I'll be trying to keep an eye out on that one. I do not know the points schedule from top to bottom. I do know the top 3 or 4-ish from the top of my head. And of course, there's also points for pole position and the fastest lap. The pole position points, too, have already been claimed by FVR. So that is in their favor already. The fastest lap will be an additional point. And of course, first place, 35 points. Second place is 30 points. So if they do claim that 1-2, as well as the fast lap and pole position, FVR could potentially claim 68 points tonight. But that could be the case for VNT as well. But I feel like those drivers that are near them, around them, don't really care about the championship. I know Jeremy really cares about P3 for the team. So he'll be trying to get the win from whoever is in front of them. AMR will be looking to make a big impression. They probably want to get into the top 10 as soon as possible. They can technically claim it tonight already if they score big points and push AZR down to P11. That would probably be the dream start. It is now 31 minutes past. We're just waiting for the camera to swap to the trackside. And then we'll be fully on our way. There we are. The lights are coming on right now. 3, 4, and 5 red lights. And they'll be on the way for round number 13. Off we go right now. How well did they all got off the line? Looks like Victor Whittler actually got the better race start. And he's already challenging Alejandro into turn 1. He will have the inside line, but Alejandro breaks just a little bit later. And keeps ahead. Or does he? Because Victor Whittler gets a much better exit. And they go side by side there. Through the twitchy bit of the track here in Sector 1. Victor Whittler slots behind into second place once again. Jeremy Gallagher had kept Alex Santana behind. Ivan Escri didn't get the race start he wanted. Down to P5. Alex now already up to 4th position. A little bit of chaos further back down the field. But look at Ryan Bakar. He does have front wing damage, but he's already up to P6. I wonder if that damage is going to affect his race and by how much. In the background, it is Zozo trying to keep Thomas Belcher at base. He claimed P11 from him. Many moves in the background, as you can see right there. Several cars going side by side. But so far, so good, I'd say. For the drivers for which the championship matters. Supply Raptor already up to P9. Having moved past Pascal Gill, who managed to get himself into the top 10 as well. Thomas Belcher didn't really get the race that he wanted. Finn and Medal fighting for the final point here in the field. Look at that, Medal moving through the inside in turn 15, but that means Finn will get the other inside in the next couple of corners, and that means Medal, unless he has got massive overspeed, will have to settle for just that 15th place. Redmert's right behind them in P16. Now having completed his qualifying ban, and it is indeed Ryan Bakar having too much front wing damage. This is really, really grave news for FVR. Ryan going for a front wing switch, or is he? He is indeed. And taking on the hard tires. Far from ideal. Let's see the tires then, how they've all started. As predicted, most have started on the medium tires. There is 5 drivers who've decided to go for the hards, and of course Rayan has swapped to the hards as well, making it 6. Supplier Raptor, the highest ranked driver on the hard tires. And Redmertz indeed has started on the hards. AMS have gone for the mediums to both of them. Drastic Blaze, Lucas Serra, Alex Lamas, both TRT drivers actually on the hard tires. That is interesting. And Jeremy Gallagher struggling to keep up with the top 2. This might potentially become a 2-horse race, or sorry, 2-horse battle for the win. Victor Whitler trying to go around the outside in turn 12, but no way past yet. Was a bit of a half-hearted attack. I don't think he really wanted to commit it fully just yet. He's probably going to try and find a proper way to get past. Swooping with a big move in the corner here, trying to stay as close as possible. Place as much pressure on the race leader as possible. He knows that FVR have got everything to lose tonight if they can't massively outscore VNT. VNT knows they need to outscore FVR by 24 points. Currently 30 points plus 20 points is 50 points, whereas Alejandro is on 35 points and Ryan is on 0. That is a 15-point difference, excluding pole position in the fastest lap so far, meaning that VNT won't be champion yet, even with Ryan out of the points. That means Alex will have to make some moves. Jeremy right now slowly crawling back to the top 2. Keeping a distance in sector 1. He appears to be struggling a little bit there. And Victor is definitely showing Alejandro that he's potentially got a lot more race pace than he does. Let's join him on board a little bit. He does indeed go for the move now. DRS and ERS. And past he goes. Alejandro didn't fight it. He knows that if he does, he'll lose more time, and right behind him there's Alex, as you can see here, but there's also Jeremy. And Jeremy is keeping an eye on Marcel. Marcel and Redmertz are now his nearest rivals. It's such a turnaround for VRM. Ever since China. And they're inching ever closer to 3rd in the standings, but they've still got some ways to go. 34 points is the difference between VRM and ET8. TRT, on the other hand, have fallen backwards a little bit. Had a good start of the season, had 3rd in their hands, and now are down to P5 and currently driving around in P8 and P13, but they are on an alternate strategy. That means they will come into play later down in the race. It does look cloudy indeed, but I've just seen in the chat that there will be no rain. And a big thank you to Ace for providing me with the points. It is 23 points for P4 and 20 points for P5. All right. The top 9 now is separated from the rest of the field. It's Zozo leading the second group in P10. Pascal Gill looks like he's got good race pace. He's keeping up with the rest and the race leaders as well. As Thomas moves past Zozo. Zozo actually kind of moved out of the way right there, knowing that they have to work together to at least have a shot at retaining a chance of getting back to the top 9. So far, so good then for the drivers, except for Ryan, who's hoping for a safety car, something similar. Something that will get him back into the race. As he is very lonely in P19. will likely have to stop another time unless he can somehow nurse these tires from lap 2 all the way until the end of the race. And even then, it will be a big struggle to get proper points. Alejandro will have to win the race to maximize the points for FVR. He's got no choice. Second place simply won't be good enough. Right now, it is VNT that is scoring 58 points, as opposed to Alejandro 32. That is 26 points. At the moment, VNT have got the title. And they might know that already, and Alejandro might know it as well. He's actually going to try and go for a move around the outside. Can't make a proper exit. Oh, actually, he does go for the attack in turn 13. That is something. We're on lap 5 in the race already. The gloves might have come off. He made a 2 attempts in a row right there, showing that while Victor was pushing him in the first 3 laps, now it's the other way around. Alex Lamas and Finn are doing something similar, only it is in the final couple of corners. It's now Alex moving past into P12. Oh, that's Zozo going very wide and having to yield to the Mercedes. Once again, a swap for the lead. This time Alejandro does get the position. Victor Whittler once again does get slightly better exit out of turn 1 though. And that is how Alejandro has regained the lead, but Victor is definitely going to keep him very much on his toes. And Jeremy is lurking in the shadows behind them, looking to capitalize on any mistake either of them will make. And Alex Santana, of course, trying to get in a good position to provide backups for his teammate, but he needs to get the Sauber out of the way. And of course, there's Ivan. You can't count him out either. There goes Victor Whittler back into the lead once again. It's going to be this kind of cat and mouse game for a little while, until the final stages of the race. You've seen Alejandro doing battle a little bit, but not by much. He's done just enough to perhaps offset Victor and not lose that much time to the cars behind. Pascal has now dropped from the 9 that were ahead, and the top 9 now becomes the top 8 fighting for the win. Supply Raptor now the car in last position of this group. But he does have the hard tire, and slowly but surely he's getting closer to the rest. Lining up Paul Villegas for a move into P7. A bit too far back for the time being though. But this might make it more interesting by the end of it. He's gonna go long and then take the mediums and go on a quick final stint. How much will it gain him? How much will it cost him? We'll have to find out. His teammate sitting in P11 behind Thomas. They've now ditched the rest of the field and are driving towards Pascal, who's on his own. And if they become a threesome, they might be able to cooperate. Axel now with a penalty, the first of the race, 3 seconds. AMS on pretty much the edge of points, with Lucas Serra looking to make a move past Medal into turn 12, and it looks like he's properly lining him up. Is he going to be able to do it? Looks like Medal has just got a little bit too much straight line speed. And ahead of them, there's battling as well. You can see it from this point of view. Dive there by Lucas Serra. And Medal caught by surprise, and 2 cars ahead of them take each other out. Suddenly, there's drama. It's Redmerds and Drastic Blaze. Something that ET8 really can't use in their battle against VRM. And already pit stops are happening. Victor Whittler carries on for another lap. This is very interesting indeed. 4 drivers pit and the end of lap number 7. Jeremy, Ivan, Alejandro and Alex. And Zozo as well retires from the race. It was actually Zozo and Redmers that came together, sorry. I think it was. That is quite painful for the ETA charge, and indeed that last to podium prediction in the chat now becomes a little bit more unrealistic. Victor Whittler all by himself. Probably not too long. He'll want to pit at this lap, I think. Otherwise, he might risk losing DRS to those who pitted on the previous lap. It's these 4 drivers that are looking to undercut the rest. Alejandro included. And they are gaining fast on the next group. Yellow flag as Zozo has retired in the pit lane. As it becomes green again. SET, 1 driver down. Oh, some banging wheels going on right here between Axel and Drastic Blaze. As Drastic now gets swarmed by another AMS car as well as Redmerds. Redmerds is still in the points as Victor Whittler now pits on lap 8. Redmers is also started on the hard, so he can't place an undercut. And Axel actually can do so. Thomas pits as well. More drivers ditching their tires now. And Marcel Papp becomes the race leader. Paul Viegas into second place. Supply Raptor into third. Pascal into P4. Let's have a little look. Alejandro hasn't managed to do the undercut against Victor. And that means Victor is actually quite at the advantage right here. He's actually nearly managed to drive Alejandro out of DRS on his final lap, the in-lap. Victor now, though, approaching a group of slower cars on all the tires. And it's crucial for him that he gets past as soon as he can, but he needs to have a decent gap to the next car. As small as possible, and this is half a second. I don't think that will be enough. He is using his battery though, but it will have to be an almighty dive if he wants to get past Redmers now, which is not going to happen. He does get quite close. Ahead of him more battle takes place. It's Drastic versus Finn. A nice view from Victor Whittler. He won't like this as much. Oh, now there he goes. He can't get past because Redmers is fighting now. And now it's Metal right ahead of him. He won't be liking this at all, but the cars ahead have got absolutely no obligation to get out of the way. And I think Metal wants to pit here, and he can't. I feel like Metal wants to go to the left to go into the pit lane, but he's getting absolutely swarmed by everybody, and he's not appreciating it. Now he's defending for some reason against Alejandro on much fresher tires. Probably showing his displeasure, so to say. And now everybody else passes him as well. Alejandro is still within DRS range of the Ferrari, mostly thanks to the fact that Victor is still stuck behind 2 slower cars. Metal kind of became the victim of cars getting past between turns 19 and 20. I think it felt like to me that he wanted to pit there. Victor moves past Redmerds. Is Redmerds defending? Well, he's trying to get the best line. It looked like he was defending, but I feel like neither of them lost any time there. And now it's Alejandro up next, trying to get past the McLaren. As well as Victor trying to get past Drastic Blaze. These are the obstacles you have to move past if you pit early. Jeremy Gallagher doing the same thing. Alejandro with a dive into turn 15. Drastic saw it somewhat coming, but he gets more speed on the exit. Alejandro has to back out. This is crucial. He's already somewhat lost DRS to Victor. And Drastic has as well. Will the rear wing open for the Alpine? It does still. This is interesting. He's still not passed. He'll still be stuck. In the meanwhile, it is Supply Raptor making his moves. Oh no, never mind. He can't make the moves. Through the snaky section, even though he's on the faster tires, it's a little bit risky to make the overtake here, to be fair. And we swapped to it just a second too late to know what exactly happened, but they did collide. But I don't think, at least visually, no damage. And Marcel's gone. This is costing them a lot of time. Something they can't afford. Especially Poe on the old mediums, who wants to get as much time out of those tires as possible. In the meantime, Trastic is still in between Alejandro and Victor, and only now does the Red Bull get past. Same goes for Jeremy. And look at the damage, 1.7 seconds. Final seconds between Victor and Alejandro now. And Alejandro is going to have to do everything in his power to catch up to the Ferrari. Jeremy is following him. Alex Santana as well. They've gotten through a lot easier. Now it's Ivan up next as Drastic gets a lot of wheel spin out of turn 15. Ivan Escree wants to get past Marcel Pitts. Same goes for Pau Vigas. Medal did get his pit this lap. Or the previous lap, I should say. Let's see if Alejandro is capable of catching the Ferrari that has now gotten away from him. He's going to need Jeremy. But he's also got Alex for company. And Alex does not want Alejandro to catch up. So I feel like once Alex gets ahead, he might actually hold them up in the sectors where they can't overtake. Luckily for Alejandro, he's still got Jeremy in between them. And Jeremy might be much more willing to cooperate than Alex is going to be. Stop the race, please. I can totally understand why you're saying that, because look at that TRT. 1 and 2. They've yet to pit. I know. But you might want to take a screenshot here now. Victor Whitler is approaching Lucas Serra very fast. Alejandro is gaining a little bit. The gap down to 1.6 seconds now. It's not by much. But it is something. He did get pole position, so he does know how to drive very fast on a single lap. And the question is, can he do so on a whole or half race distance? The answer so far is somewhat, but he's now losing time again to Victor. Victor himself now almost on the back of Lucas Serra. Serra is all by himself, 2 seconds away from Alex Lamas in second. Ryan Bakar, in the meanwhile, has gotten himself up to P12. But he's likely to pit again. Alejandro and Victor gap now 1.9 seconds. The gap is still getting bigger. Victor's only hope might be the Aston Martin that Victor is approaching now. But it looks like Victor is approaching him at the perfect time, where he will get DRS. Gains time through turn 11. Gets close enough for a proper move. And Alejandro is already on 2 seconds. Jeremy is not close enough, not fast enough to cooperate properly with Alejandro there. He does get DRS still, but he's much too far away to make a move. Looks like Alejandro is actually fast in the straight line. But you can see here in sectors 1 and 3, that is where he's losing time. Although, look at that. Never mind, this of course is the gap against Lucas. I was about to say, how is it shrinking so fast? But it isn't. It's now the gap against Lucas. No longer against Victor. Victor now, though, right behind Alex. And that won't be a difficult move either. Don't think Victor is worried at all at the moment. Gap now between himself and Alejandro. Well over 2.5 seconds. It's slowly approaching 3 seconds by this point. Victor has now split the Mercedes. course, they've yet to pit. Same goes for Lucas. And Redmers and Drastic Blaze as well. And most likely Rayan for a second stop too. And the championship battle right now, definitely very much in favor of VNT. Victor only has traffic on the straights. Yes, he does. Alejandro had struggles getting past Drastic Blaze at the moment where it counted. He was just a little bit too far back. You can see him right here. Marcel Paps has moved past. I feel like, well, Drastic's got more race speed. He might want to stay as close as he possibly can. Redmarts, though, didn't really want to get Drastic Blaze to get ahead. He moved out of his teammates' way, but then there was Drastic as well. So Redmarts will have to fight. He fights so hard he nearly loses control of the car. Now, this is an interesting battle between these two to get into the top 10. At least that is where they are fighting for now. So far, though, Drastic Blaze has managed to do it. To get himself up there. Redmarts will have something to say about it for sure. A bit too far back into turn 1. Axel with a penalty. And retires from the race. Oh, that's one AMS driver out. Who is given up. Medal is very much behind as well. Oh, Alejandro might have just sealed the deal for VNT. He's got a 3-second time penalty, and that means Alex is already ahead by default. And Alex Lamas going very defensive against Lucas Serra. Look at that. The whole train of cars behind him quickly move into slipstream. Lucas Serra is now fighting with him into turn 12. Alejandro really can't use this. Tries to get around the outside of Alex. Desperation now kicks in. There's Jeremy Gallagher on the inside of an inside that doesn't even exist anymore. And there goes Alex Santana. Through the Ferrari goes. Jeremy very eager and something is going on there. Alex has decided to go defensive against everybody. Now loses out to Alex as well. Alex versus Alex. And now he slots in to P7. He's now got Ivan right behind him. He's also got fresher tires, faster tires. Alejandro up into P3. But look at that. 4.5 seconds behind Victor. Plus 3 penalty seconds. Equals a nightmare for FVR. They've experienced several nightmares this season, but this one might be the final nail to the coffin. There's still 13 laps, including this one, to go. Anything can still happen, but as it stands, it is quite safe to say that VNT are the champions of Season 7. Nightmare for ET8 as well. Well, yeah, they're P9 and P10, both on penalties. Losing loads of points of Jeremy is currently certainly got... Well, he's actually got P6 still. Because he's also got a penalty. So Jeremy, while having a good race, really can't use that penalty if he wants to claim P3 for the team. It won't happen tonight at this rate. Alex, oh my goodness, Lucas Serra getting pushed very wide by Alex. And through goes Jeremy once again. What on earth is going on here? Everybody is racing everybody, no matter the tires. Lucas will probably be very displeased. Not sure what happened there. Perhaps they tangled wheels. I'm sure Alex didn't mean to push somebody wide that has got like 7 lap older tires. It looked like wheel tangling to me. Ivan now moved past as well, chasing down Alex Santana for P5. He's currently up for a 4th place. And once Supply Raptor moves out of the way, Ivan might actually end up on the podium. on the first outing for the AMR team, who are having their debut here in Season 7 tonight. They can still get that dream start. And Paul Viegas is looking for a solid top 10 as well. Thomas Balcher now with a 3-second penalty. He had a good qualifying, but now he's all the way down in 14th. Right behind his teammate, who is yet to pit. Alex Santana's point of view right here. Join him on board a little bit. Chasing down Jeremy, who's no longer able to follow Alejandro. Alejandro is not all by himself. He's caught up to Supply Raptor. And then it will be a lonely battle to make sure he doesn't get another penalty. Alex, at the moment, does have second place. Almost. Alejandro is a bit too far away. Supply Raptor pits now for his mediums. Redmers has already done so. And once Lucas is pitted, the order at the front of the field will have been restored. And I have to say... Oh, probably should turn off the halo there. And Redmers gets a massive penalty for track limits. What on earth has he done? 10 seconds for cutting a corner. Somewhere. I'm not sure how he managed that. Alex at the moment can't get the VNT 1-2 anymore. Jeremy Guernier is now through 3.2 seconds away from Alejandro. So Alex will have to overtake Jeremy and then close that gap by about half a second preferably to get into the safe zone. He's going to make the move now. Jeremy tries to claim the outside. Alex pushes him to the limits of the track, but it is a respectful battle so far. Jeremy stays ahead. Alex gets the inside line now to turn 15, but then it's Jeremy's advantage. No, never mind. He swaps to the outside, allowing Alex to swap to the inside, and a bump there between the two cars, and Alex is passed, and the gap has now increased to about 4 seconds. Alex has got a 1 second gap to cover to Alejandro if he wants to claim the 1-2 for the team and seal the deal. It would be the perfect way to celebrate the title. Alex Lamas now pits for his medium tires. Alex Santana has got a tall order. Let's see if he can do it. Now Ivan is all over the back of Jeremy Salbert. Ivan Escri on AMR's debut. Currently happily sitting into P4 and a podium not that far away. That's currently what Alex is holding. The championship is indeed in two hands for VNT. They are gaining first and third place at the moment, and Alejandro is pulling away, so Alex's second place is getting further away bit by bit. Ryan Bakar is yet to pit. Oh, there goes Ivan! What on earth happened here then? As soon as we swap to the Racing Bull, he's lost control. That is not good. Might have been a collision between himself and Jeremy, perhaps, or just losing control. Turn 15, of course, is always tricky. I rarely see drivers make a mistake there. That is unfortunate. That, for now at least, pushes the podium outside of Ivan's head. Marcel's there as well to keep him company. Can they get back to the top four? 2.5 seconds between Marcel and Jeremy is a tall order. Ivan will still get P5 due to Marcel's penalty, even if he finishes behind him. Indeed, Ryan does pit for fresh tires. He's now out of the points, but he'll be a lot quicker than everybody else. He'll have the freshest tires of the field alongside Lucas Serra. Jeremy desperately trying to stay with Alex, but it feels like Alex is pulling away bit by bit, and Jeremy's being saved by the DRS. Marcel and Ivan trying to get closer there. Ivan's teammate Po is 5 seconds back on slightly fresher tires, but that difference won't be big enough to allow Po to catch up. He'll soon be joined by Supply Raptor on his very fresh and very fast mediums. He's already overtaken Pascal for P8. And P7 is looking like a good goal for Supply Raptor to go to. Think that P6 might be just a bit too far away, to be fair. But you never know. If you can get within 3 seconds of Marcel, you might still get that 6th place. Let's see what he can do. He'll have to move past Po as soon as he can. Right now, the gap is just a little bit too big. The tire difference 6 laps in favor of Supply Raptor, as well as the tire compound being in his favor as well. Ryan Bakar has already moved past Medal for P15. Back into the points he goes. But it will still not be enough. 4.3 seconds between Alex and Alejandro. That's 1.5 seconds too much. Another opportunity here for Pascal. Sorry, for Supply Raptor. And Po knows it. He goes defensive all the way on the inside. Supply Raptor doesn't go for the slipstream. He decides to stay behind. It looks like he's going to settle for P7 now. Whoa. He's very much pushing, that's for sure. VNT gained 23 now. Ryan in the points. It's not enough. They'll miss out on the title by a single point. Wow. And Alex is not able to get to Alejandro. And he might just be under scrutiny due to the move against Lucas Serra. Po Villegas trying to defend against Supply Raptor, but Supply has got more grip. And through he goes into P7. That's what he needs. Now he can try and pull ahead. But I have to say, it was more of a struggle than I thought it would be. Now the tire difference between himself and the next car is 10 laps. 5.6 seconds. 6.2 to Marcel. He needs to be within 3 seconds of Marcel to get P6. Is it possible? We'll see. Jeremy Gallonier is able still to remain on Alex's tail, but Marcel and Ivan are closing the gap. They are now within 2 seconds. And perhaps there's still some hope for Ivan to get onto the podium. Look at that. It is indeed. Marcel closes the gap by another 3/10, now down to 1.7. And Po repasses Supply Raptor, and Supply gets a 3-second time penalty. Might have outbraked himself. But that is his advantage now completely grounded to a halt. He will still race the Racing Bull, but it will no longer be for position. Let's go for the move once again in turn 1. But Supply Raptor's Mercedes is very slippery. Very oversteery. He's almost lost control of the car on several occasions now. And now nearly slammed. Oh, there we go! There it goes! There it goes! They banged wheels and both lost control now. And Supply Raptor down to P10. Hopefully you guys retains P8. But he's now behind Pascal. People screaming for a red card in the chat. And Supply Raptor is gonna have to do it all over again, but I'm afraid it's too little too late. There is Thomas getting past Supply Raptor. I'm not sure what he's doing now, but he's weaving the car. Is that out of frustration? Or is he just waving Thomas goodbye? Now Alex is right behind him on slightly fresher tires. Will they swap positions then to allow Alex a chance to fight Thomas? Both of them have penalties. Thomas as well. Marcel now gets a 3-second time penalty. That is good news for Ivan. They are both nearly within DRS range of Jeremy and Alex. Alex is not having as much race pace as he would have liked. He can't catch Alejandro, and now he's about to fall into the clutches of potentially Ivan for 3rd place. And Ivan probably won't care at all about the championship battle. This is a podium he's smelling. Despite what happened earlier on, he's back in business. Within the DRS range, they all are now. Jeremy is just on the edge of it. In fact, he's no longer got DRS anyway. And that makes him very vulnerable to Marcel and Ivan. We'll have to keep an eye on Jeremy. His podium aspirations down the drain. P5 the best he can manage for now. But it looks like somehow Ivan has lost it again. Made a mistake then. Somewhere between turn 12 and turn 15. That's cost him dearly. While the rest is still fighting. Oh, Jeremy gets another 3-second time penalty. Marcel Papt went too wide as well. Everybody now struggling to keep the car on track. The one stop turns out to be a tough one in terms of grip. Supply Raptor has gotten back ahead of Thomas as well as Alex. They swap positions now, but they're still together. Will they help one another out? I don't think they will. Alex is nearly out of DRS range of his teammates already. And Pope Villegas with an absolute dive on Lucas Serra. Impressive. Looking at the tire difference right there. Poe back into P7. The position where he was when he spun together with Supply Raptor. Lucas and Pascal are having a strong race. I have to say, for OMB, P8 and P9 is a great result. And they still have got P7 in sight. Ivan has completely lost view of the top 3. That mistake on the previous lap has cost him dearly. A fatal mistake for the podium there. And not the dream start the AMR were after. As Paul Villegas, the other AMR driver, now defends tooth and nail against Lucas Serra on fresher tires there. The Aston Martin is. But he's got the inside. And that's the move done, or is it? Paul Villegas tries to get back at 2 inside opportunities. Now tries to make a switchback perhaps. But there's not enough exit speed. And he's got to keep an eye on his rear view mirrors as well, because there's another OMB driver right behind him. It's a battle for 7th, and it's quite hot to say. 3 laps remain. Victor is in a league of his own. Alejandro is as well. Alex is keeping 2 drivers behind on penalties, so he is quite safe. Not sure how many warnings he's got. Marcel is now fighting with Jeremy for P4. Ivan is gone. Ryan Bakar is already up to P12. And he's actually closing into the TRT pair now. There he is. FVR will get 41, VNT will get 56. That's 35 points for first place. $26. No, VNT gets 61 points, not 56. Unless I'm missing something here. Oh well. Still, VNT will gain. And, well, while they might not win the title tonight, it is nigh on impossible for FVR to catch them unless VNT DNF every single race after this one and FVR get a 1-2 and the fastest lap and pole position. VNT 1-3 indeed. It's a safe 1-3. But there's still some battles going on for other positions. Ivan is, like I said, by himself, but it is his teammate Poe, who, despite having a penalty, still trying to take the battle to Lucas Serra, hoping to force him into a penalty. Marcel Paps also with another 3-second penalty, and suddenly, well, look at that. Ivan is back into play for P4 out of nowhere. Ivan has gotten his 4th place back by quite a lot, actually. Marcel had more penalties than I thought. Jeremy now also has 6 seconds. So while Ivan is losing out, it is not as bad as we were fearing initially. Ryan Bakar at the moment still stuck behind the Mercedes pair. But Supply Raptor is now having to defend. He still got DRS, and Ryan doesn't have any battery left, so Supply Raptor just drives away. I think Alex Lamas has decided to slow down a little bit to help his teammates, but Ryan doesn't have a penalty. So it's in vain. They will just hope for him to get that penalty. Because Serra stays ahead of Poe. But Poe's on the inside. In the final couple of corners, that's risky. And he decides to bail out. So again, VNT does need to outscore FVR by 24 points. As it stands, they are gaining 61. By finishing 1st and 3rd. 61 points for VNT. In 1st place, that's 35 points. 3rd place is 26. That does equal 61 in my books. FVR will get 30 points for 2nd place. They will get 2 points for pole position, as well as an additional point for the fastest lap, and P12 is worth, let's scroll back up into the chat, 4 points, so that is 37 points. 37 points for FVR, so the difference is 24 points actually. It is actually 24 points. If I, yeah, 61 minus 37 is 24. Yeah, it's exactly enough. As it stands, Ryan Bakar must get past Supply Raptor now to get FVR one last hope. And he's already passed anyways. He doesn't really need to get past. Victor Whitler, in the meanwhile, we've completely forgotten to swap to the finish line. Does get the win. Alejandro Oliveira gets 2nd place. Alex does finish on the podium. Jeremy, will he retain 4th place? No, he won't. That's Ivan who gets the 4th position there for his 1st outing for the debut of the team. Paul Villegas, despite fighting hard against Lucas, will have to make do for P9 even as Pascal Gill moves past as well. Ryan Bakar gets P10. And that means, thanks to the penalties of TRT, FVR's title dream is still technically alive. It will not be the 24 points that VNT had if Ryan Bakar had finished in P12. That is quite something. A GG from Alejandro to Victor. Very sportsmanlike. And confirming here, Victor Whitler as your race winner. I think he had it under control. And now that Alejandro had this penalty and wasn't able to move through the traffic as quick as Victor did, Victor had it in the back completely. Alex finishes 3rd then. Ivan, great debut for AMR. P4. That's a good haul of points there for the team. I believe that's 21 points there. No, sorry, 23 points. And his teammate in P9 will score, let's see, 10 points. So that's 33 points already on the board and closing into AZR rapidly. At this rate, they'll easily get at least 10th place in the standings. And IRT will have to look behind them for AMR approaching rapidly. Ah, that explains the confusion why. All right. Let's see if we can get the top 3 for an interview. Probably we can expect Victor and Alex in the box here. They've always been happy to give us some insights. Let's see if Alejandro is joining this time around. I haven't seen him in the commentary box yet. Also, let's find out whether my face is still a camera icon or whether you can actually see me again. Lovely. Right then. It is now VNT with one hand and an additional 4 fingers on the trophy, so to say. Just another thumb, and they've got it. That's how it is right now. And indeed, as predicted, Victor Whittler, the first to get himself into the waiting room and now dragged into the commentary box. Hello, Victor. It was a victory once again for VNT, and from our point of view, it looked like quite a straightforward one, but was it as straightforward as I think it was?
To be honest, yeah, it was. Perfect race, just had amazing pace and just, yeah, managed to overcut Loafer by 1 lap, which was very nice, and then I could just go, which, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, were you expecting to overcut him, or were you afraid the undercut was powerful here?
The undercut is very powerful, so I was afraid of that. I thought the thing is when I boxed, I knew my box lap was lap 8, and I was just okay. He box lap before. I'm just gonna push my fullest and see where I can get. And since the overcut is decent here, not crazy but decent, I'm very happy I managed to overcut him actually.
And then, of course, after you overcut him, there was a lot of traffic for the both of you, and it looked like for us that you were able to move through it so much easier. What was the way to approach the traffic?
I think it's pushing in the right places, burning in the right places. Like I was catching them, I was aiming to catch them on the straights, like on the main straight, on the start finish straights. It's just catching them at the right time basically. And then just executing the overtakes.
Yeah, I mean, it was very clean indeed, and quite a dominant victory. You still technically haven't got the title, but like I said to the chat already, you've got 1 hand and 4 fingers on the trophy already. How will you approach the final 2 races knowing this?
We'll just do our best as always and get the points we need. Everyone's pushing really hard, so we'll just do what's necessary, and I'm 100% confident we get it over the line.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the victory.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, up next, the other VNT driver, Alex Santana, finishing 3rd today after last week losing the 1-2, back on the podium today. How do you feel about this race?
Yeah, we did what we have to do. That is, keep it consistent and don't mess up, and we did that. So, nice.
Yeah, were you aiming to get the title tonight, or were you just looking around and seeing what was going to happen?
Yeah, no, we were not gonna risk it to get it today. So, yeah, there was nothing crazy to do. We just kept it simple, and it worked.
Yeah, of course, Victor Whittler was able to drive away. Alejandro did have the 3-second time penalty, and you were chasing him down. Was it at any point in your head possible to get the 1-2 for the team tonight?
There was a chance, but then Jeremy lost the DRS. I think he had crazy top speed, and he was kind of slow in the corners. So he lost the DRS to Alejandro, and then yeah, I had to keep watching behind because of the low wings Jeremy had. Every straight, no matter how back he was, I had to be looking and spending my ERS, so I couldn't really fight for to be in the 3-second margin of Alejandro's penalty. So yeah, I just at some point, like I think lap 20 or something like that, I just gave up and started saving a bit more battery so I could make sure that Jeremy wasn't gonna get past me at the end of the race.
And of course, there was a traffic at the start of the second stint that you had to negotiate. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, we know how COTA races are. Some people box early and then the other guys stay out late, and the pit lane is not very long, so you tend to have this kind of battles and you have to get through them. And yeah, I just wanted to get through them without any damage or something, so it worked out.
All right. Well, nearly got the title in the grass for the team. 2 races to go. I asked Victor already, but I'm curious to see what do you think about the final 2 races? What would the approach be?
Yeah, I mean, at this point we have to really mess up to lose this. So yeah, next few races are gonna be just the same as usual. Just keep it safe, make sure we don't get damaged or even worse, a crash, and then it should be done.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy your 3rd place.
Thank you.
All right, and that does conclude tonight's broadcast. There's 2 rounds to go. VNT is pretty much nearly there. We've only got Monza and Vegas to go, 2 very high-speed tracks, and that is bound to be interesting, of course. Chaos is always just around the corner on tracks like those, and we'll see how FVR's approach is going to be in these final 2 races. We already know that VNT is going to try and approach the we've got everything to lose thing, and I wonder how FVR is going to respond to the tactics on track by VNT. We'll see next week in Monza on March the 28th of 2026. Thank you so much for joining once again. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Until then, goodbye.